I got wasted and tumbled straight into a one-night stand, only to discover I'd accidentally bedded my own frosty CEO. I quit on the spot and ran for the hills. 8 months later, when I waddled back into Adrian's orbit with a belly the size of a beach ball, he was livid. Clamping his jaw so tight I heard enamel creak, he ground out, "Sophie, I don't care what you've been through. The second that baby is born, I'll raise him as my own." Me, dude, he literally is your own. The first blade of morning sunlight slipped through the curtains and slashed across my face. I was about to roll over and dive back into dreamland when something warm hooked around my waist. Wrong. 10 out of 10 wrong. I cracked my eyes open and scanned the room. Not my house. A chandelier sparkling like a Vegas marquee, antique oriental panels, and a bed big enough to host a soccer match, 3 meters easy. And smack in the middle, my boss Adrian, stark naked, one sculpted arm flung over me like a seat belt. Even asleep, the man's perfect profile shouted, "Keep your distance, peasants." While my brain blue-screened, I tried to reboot last night's timeline. My name's Sophie, and yesterday had been my 26th birthday. With Chinese New Year around the corner, Pushy were camped out at the Sterling estate doing their yearly inspection. When I tried to slip out, Auntie One planted herself in front of the door. "Sophie, look how old you are. If you don't marry soon, your ovaries will file for retirement. All you do is party, think you're still 12? "Exactly," her sister piled on. "Arlinda's 3 years younger and her kid's already in preschool. After 25 it's all downhill." Mom, mortified that her daughter was ruining her bragging rights, joined the chorus of how irresponsible I was. "My parents own a factory. I'm useless at spreadsheets, so their new retirement plan is a grandchild to groom as the next CEO. The peanut gallery drove me nuts." I snapped, "What's the big deal? I can pop out a kid without a husband." I stormed out, and that trash fire of a pep rally primed me for rebellion. 26 and over the hill? Fine. I'll manufacture a baby tonight, assembly line style. I scouted the bar, locked onto the hottest guy in the room, sauntered over with my cocktail, and traced a finger along his lips. "Hey, gorgeous, into strong, silent types?" He was pretty sloshed himself, his obsidian eyes glittered, and then, memory card yanked clean. I never expected to wake up in Adrian's bed. One night stand with the boss, social death level, expert mode. Holy mother, holy granny, holy cardigan and jacket, my brain had turned into a raisin. Before he stirred, I scooped up my clothes, ninja rolled off the mattress, and bolted. Because I had no clue whether he'd sue, fire, or fillet me, I quit. Then I nuked every coworker's number, Adrian included. My salary was pocket change next to my weekly allowance anyway. I'd only taken the job because Mom and Dad hated seeing me vegetate at home. Their grand plan was for me to run the factory. Instead, I filed orders wrong and color-coded inventory into chaos. So I'd settled for a cushy gig where I did nothing and got paid for it. Now, unemployed again, I reverted to full-time slug mode, until one afternoon, sprawled in bed with a bag of chips, I was hit by a random wave of nausea and remembered, Aunt Flo hadn't visited in 2 months. Tell me I did not hit the jackpot from a single night of idiocy. 2 pink lines later, I discovered new definitions of despair. I was pregnant. Mom and Dad walked in to find me on the carpet, hair like a bird's nest, clutching the positive pregnancy test like a loaded gun. The minute they crouched beside me, I bawled so hard the windows rattled. Dad wanted to hunt the guy down and turn him into mulch. I bear hugged his leg. "Daddy, no." Technically I seduced him. I wasn't dumb enough to name the father. Given the circumstances, Adrian would probably accuse me of taking advantage of him. That day the relatives said my eggs expire at 25, I sniffled. I got drunk and impulsive. Dad finally parked himself on the sofa to smoke a whole cigarette of rage while Mom sobbed, You impossible brat, I said get married and then have kids, not cart the stroller down the aisle backwards. Head bowed, I mumbled, I know I screwed up. Tomorrow can you take me to Riverdale for, termination? I've always loved kids, the idea of erasing this one felt like swallowing glass, but bringing him into a dadless world seemed crueler. Dad stubbed out the smoke, exhaled, and said, Sophie, maybe let the baby stay. The Sterling family can afford one extra high chair. Mom wiped her cheeks. Abortions can wreck your body. If something goes wrong, future kids might be impossible. Right, Dad nodded. Air production on an accelerated timeline works for me. I need to think. I dragged myself to my room, reeling. Inside me was a speck of life that had shown up without an invitation, and here I was Googling how to delete him. I couldn't do it. Finding a soulmate is like winning the Powerball, and I'd basically resigned myself to single cat lady status. So I chose the baby. Cue prenatal boot camp, eat, nap, pee, repeat. After 5 months Mom snapped. Sophie. Move a muscle. If you lie there any longer, delivery day will require a forklift. She yanked me off the mattress and hauled me to the mall to stock up on baby supplies. By then I'd felt the first kick. I held up a tiny purple onesie and asked my belly, like this one, Bean? Silence. I swapped it for a yellow sleeper. How about sunny yellow? A pair of miniature feet fluttered against my abdomen. Both outfits went into the cart. Loaded down with enough loot to open a boutique, I wheedled Mom into hitting a newly opened spot called Bella for lunch. The instant I stepped through Bella's door, I saw Adrian walking in right behind me. I wasn't worried he'd recognize me. After all, I'd gained more than 20 pounds since the last time we met. My once oval face had rounded into something closer to a watermelon seed. When I pretended to stroll past him without a care, he stopped. His gaze was distant, almost glacial, and even the curve of his thin lips carried a chill. Sophie, so you quit in a rush to get married? I froze. Crap, he'd made me. Mom blinked at the stranger. You two know each other? I nodded woodenly, then shook my head just as fast. Just a former colleague. Come on, Mom, let's sit. I gave Adrian a polite nod and dragged Mom to a table. But Adrian followed, pulling out an empty chair. Since we've run into each other, let's eat together. He turned to Mom. Nice to meet you, Sterling. I'm Sophie's former CEO. A CEO? How wonderful. I hope our Sophie didn't cause you any trouble. Mom beamed at the handsome man across from her, completely ignoring my silent, wide-eyed plea for rescue. When she finally noticed my squirming, she whispered, Sophie, is there a nail on your seat? I leaned in. Mom, you know me, scared of teachers as a kid, scared of bosses as an adult. Seeing her skeptical frown, I thanked my lucky stars I'd only told my parents I'd got wasted and slept with some random, nameless guy. If Mom ever connected Adrian to the baby inside me, she'd detonate on the spot. Throughout the meal she kept chatting him up. Adrian's vicious temper is legendary, co-workers regularly flee his office in tears, so I'd quit the very morning after I ruined his innocence. I was terrified of him. Yet today he answered Mom's questions with saint-like patience. I kept my head down, waging war on the gourmet spread. Seriously, Bella is delicious. Just as I tried to spear another piece of braised abalone, the slippery thing eluded my chopsticks. I looked up, and met Adrian's stare. His eyes were still icy. He picked up a spoon, deposited the abalone in my bowl, and asked, Where's the baby's father? Why isn't he here with you? Mentioning the father flustered me. I hemmed and hawed. He's busy today, no time. It's the weekend and he can't spare an hour for you? Sophie, I'm starting to doubt your taste. Mom sensed the fireworks, elbowed me, and mouthed, Is he into you? What? No way. I hissed back, silencing her with a glare. Not interested? Then why all the questions? Ugh, Mom, drop it. Eat. Your grandchild and I are exhausted. I used the baby as leverage, then informed Adrian, the baby's daddy is out hustling to keep me and spending money, so of course he can't tag along. After that I buried myself in my plate while the two of them kept talking. Mom practically cataloged Adrian's family tree, and, insanely, he answered every query. Hello? How did you two become best friends? I hoovered my food, desperate to escape. When we finished, Adrian insisted on driving us home. I refused without thinking. He shrugged. I had such a nice chat with your mom. I'm not giving you a ride, so relax. Huh? Now he and my mom are soulmates? Mom's grin stretched ear to ear. She chirped, wonderful, and tugged me into his car. At the gate of the Sterling subdivision, Adrian stopped us. Auntie, I enjoyed our conversation. Let's swap WhatsApp info, so if your future son-in-law ever lets you down, you can call me instead. He shot me a loaded look that sent a shiver down my spine. I only did what half the planet would do, slept with him once, and now he's preparing a full-scale invasion? And my clueless mom cheerfully added him on WhatsApp, singing, "Little Vance is such a nice boy." I muttered, "Mom, which one of us is your real kid?" She finally reined in her grin. All right, it's you. Can't believe you're jealous of little Vance. Back home she was still singing Adrian's praises. Such a capable, handsome man. Wouldn't it be great if he were my son-in-law? Then she glanced at me and grew exasperated all over again. You had a catch like that at work and you did nothing? Dad overheard and hurried over. After the recap he stunned me, sounds like a keeper. Go land him. I rolled my eyes. Dad, I'm pregnant. He waved a hand. So what? He gets an instant dad, buy one get one deal. Besides, with our family's money, marrying you is hitting the jackpot. My parents' wild logic floored me. After one meal Mom was already planning the wedding. I gave up, made an excuse, and flopped onto my bed like a corpse. Thinking of Adrian's cold face made every hair on my back stand up. Who dares chase the infamous Ice King of Vance? Not me. Next morning I had a prenatal checkup scheduled at Riverdale. Mom was supposed to come, but she bailed last minute. Sophie, I've got morning square dance battle practice. If we skip, the next block thinks we're scared. You can handle the appointment solo, Mom believes in you. Believe has nothing to do with it. Truly my biological mother. I stepped outside, and spotted Adrian's car parked by the curb. Alarm bells rang. I tucked my cap low, brain whirring at 0.2% of its 26-year mileage, and marched forward chanting, "He can't see me, can't see me." Just as I thought I'd cleared the danger zone, the window glided down. I braced myself. Adrian's sculpted face looked exhausted and accusatory. We locked eyes for a long second before his frosty order cut through the morning air, "Sophie, get in the car." Huh? No need, really. I let out a hollow laugh and kept walking. Sophie, your mom texted first thing this morning and told me to take you to your prenatal checkup. The baby's dad too busy again today? Adrian delivered the jab with a smirk. The daddy's at a conference overseas, ha ha ha. His face darkened instantly. It was a sunny 85 outside, but the temperature around us plunged. Trembling, I climbed into the car. Geez, it was even colder in here. Seeing how exhausted he looked, I hunted for small talk. Burning the midnight oil, Adrian? You seem wiped. No overtime. I just spent the whole night missing a certain heartless woman. My stomach lurched. Heartless woman? He couldn't have figured out that I was the one who slept with him and ran, could he? I panicked. He'd been wasted that night too. If he hadn't been, I'd never have dared to maul him like that. But knowing Adrian's temper, if he'd discovered it was me, he'd have quartered me already. No way would I be sitting safely in his car. Ha ha ha, who's the lucky lady who got thought about all night? I probed carefully, praying he didn't catch the tremor in my voice. Sophie, curiosity like that will only hurt you. So it wasn't me, thank God. We rode in silence the rest of the way to Riverdale. Because morning labs require an empty stomach, the instant the car stopped my belly gave a traitorous growl. Hungry? A soft chuckle brushed my ear. I'm okay. How embarrassing. I scrambled out. Well, thanks for the ride, Adrian. I'll head in, go home and get some rest. He didn't seem to hear me. Leaning over, he unclicked my seatbelt. Warm breath fanned my neck, making me shiver. He acted oblivious. If you faint from hunger, how will I explain that to your mom? And no, I'll be fine. You're a busy man, can't waste more of your time. Sophie, I know about your hypoglycemia. If something happens, I'm liable. Besides, I've come this far, may as well finish the job. Was he worried about me? A strange flutter rose in my chest. While I was still processing, he glanced at his watch and raised an eyebrow. Getting out or planning to move in? Flustered, I flung the door open and jumped out. I walked ahead of him. If I couldn't see his face, I wouldn't overthink. Adrian hustled around, registering me, fetching forms, until the last item, a blood draw. I've fainted at the sight of needles and blood since childhood, so I'd saved this for the end. After several deep breaths and a pep talk, I slid into the chair. The nurse cinched the tourniquet around my arm. The instant the needle flashed, dizziness hit and I pitched sideways. Adrian caught me, pulling me against him while his other hand covered my eyes. The crisp bitter orange scent pouring off his jacket snapped me back to clear-headedness. A laugh rumbled above me. Such a big girl, still scared of a little blood draw. Luckily my face was buried in his shirt, his palm blocking my eyes. He couldn't see me blush crimson. I have a needle phobia, and I faint at blood. Delicate little thing, he murmured indulgently. After what felt like eons, the nurse finished. Adrian's hand dropped. I peeked at my arm and accidentally met the nurse's teasing gaze. Sweetie, your husband dotes on you. Never seen anyone need cuddling for a blood draw. I'm not, Adrian cut me off. Thanks. The nurse smiled and left with the vial. Why didn't you let me explain? I asked, puzzled. Explain what? That I'm escorting a married woman to her prenatal appointment and hugged her so she wouldn't faint? Sophie, are you trying to trash my reputation? So that was it. I tamped down the weird feeling. Adrian cherishes his good name, I'd better keep my distance. Right. Tonight I'll tell Mom to quit summoning him for every little thing. Lost in thought, I emitted another ill-timed stomach growl. Adrian chuckled. I'm starving too. After babysitting you all morning, the least you can do is buy me breakfast. So I led him to the wonton shop I'd haunted every morning when I still worked nearby. We'd barely sat when he went to order. Moments later 2 steaming bowls arrived. As I reached for whichever, he blocked me, pointing to the other. That one's yours, no scallions. Since getting pregnant I've stopped being picky, yet he remembered I hate scallions? Seeing my surprise, he coughed. Ahem. Knowing every employee's preferences is part of a boss's duty. Oh. I dipped my head and spooned up the clear broth with its sweet pork and shrimp wontons. Savory soup, delicate filling, perfect. My mood soared. Yep, must be extreme hunger making delicious food this joyful. Nothing to do with Adrian, zero. After breakfast he drove me home, took a call, and sped off. I'd barely stepped inside when Mom greeted me with full popcorn mode. So? How did Adrian do today? Mom, shipping everything that moves will only hurt you. What? That boy clearly cares, he volunteered the minute I texted. So the whole neighborhood square dance meeting was fake? She looked away. He's obviously into you. The baby could use a dad, you know. The audacity, Adrian is someone I dare dream about? Do you know how terrifying he is at Vance? They call him the Ice King. You're shoving me into a volcano. Young people need to get to know each other. Pregnancy equals constant drowsiness. Checkup was too early, I'm going to nap, nap, nap. Sleep escape achieved, Mom's chatter faded. Lying in bed, I puzzled again. Adrian really had been off. First, almost no death glares since yesterday. Second, voluntarily hurting me through prenatal labs? Suspicious. Could he actually like me? No, impossible. Unless he's realized I was the one who slept with him? And now he suspects this baby is his? What if he insists on fighting me for the baby? The Sterling family could never go toe-to-toe with the all-powerful Vance dynasty. The more I thought about it, the deeper I sank into panic. Eventually I fell asleep inside that panic. First thing in the morning I heard Mom clanging around in the kitchen. The racket yanked me out of my conference with the Duke of Zhou. I shuffled out with bedhead and a full helping of morning temper, ready to demand why she had to make such a din, and found my childhood neighbor Chase sitting in the living room. We hadn't seen each other since he left 2 years ago for his postdoc. When he saw me, he lifted a brow. Sophie, look at you, 2 years away and you've really grown, skills. That bump is huge. My grouchiness evaporated the instant I saw him. I'm nothing compared to you. Other people need 4 or 5 years for a PhD, you finished in 2? Chase nodded proudly. Of course. Genius, right? I leaned in and whispered, don't think I don't know you rushed back for that brat Trevor. Chase's hand flew to clamp over my mouth. Sophie. Just because you're pregnant doesn't mean I won't spank you. This big brother of mine had had his heart shredded by Trevor 2 years ago and fled the country. Later he learned it had all been a stupid misunderstanding, so he gritted his teeth and wrapped up a doctorate in record time. None of the older generation know Chase is into men, only us kids who grew up together, so of course he panicked about me blabbing. Mom stood on the side, beaming at our antics. Chase, after breakfast take Sophie out for a walk. She's delivering in 2 months, the doctor says she needs light exercise. Chase gently poked my belly. You're really about to pop. Sophie, I thought I was wild, but this whole single mom by choice thing puts me to shame. I slapped his hand away. Latest fashion trend, ditch the dad, keep the baby. Seeing Chase lifted my mood, I nibbled a little, and then he took me out. Ever since I got pregnant, Mom's been all about scientific nutrition, bland food every single meal. My taste buds have practically atrophied. So the moment we were out I decided, cake first, hot pot second. I dragged him to our old dessert haunt near my former office. We grabbed a table, and while I was sitting there thinking it's awfully close to Vance, please don't let Adrian show up, exactly what I feared walked through the door. The next second I spotted him at the register buying coffee. Why on earth does a high and mighty CEO fetch his own coffee, huh? Worse, the instant I saw him, his cool gaze locked onto mine. I jerked my eyes away, but it was too late. He strode over, staring fixedly at Chase beside me. Sophie, who is this? Sunshine Boy Chase scratched his head and stuck out a hand. I'm Chase, just got back yesterday. Adrian's face darkened. Black thunderclouds gathered as he ignored us both, muttering, just returned. Sophie, you're something else. Then, brushing off Chase's outstretched hand, he spun on his heel and lumbered out of suite. His steps were unsteady. Hungover, maybe? No wonder he needed coffee, hair of the dog. For some reason, watching Adrian leave sent my own mood plummeting. The cake and hot pot that followed tasted like cardboard. Probably late pregnancy taste burnout, yeah, that had to be it. After we ate, Chase still had to track down his precious Trevor, so he drove me home and took off. Yet barely out the door my greedy self had dragged him to suite, and now, belly full, I crashed into a dead sleep the second I walked in. My phone kept ringing. Who's clueless enough to spam me like this? But I was too sleepy. I rolled over, sealed out the noise, and slipped back into dreamland. When I finally woke it was evening. I shuffled out of the bedroom and Mom started in. "Sophie, you're giving birth in 2 months and all you do is sleep. How's that healthy? Go get some fresh air." "Mom, why are you always nagging me?" I whined. "Because left alone you'll hibernate 20 hours a day." She thrust a trash bag at me. "Here, take the garbage out, counts as exercise." Okay. Bag in hand, I ambled downstairs. I'd just reached the curb when, lo and behold, Adrian's car. Seriously, what's with this guy? Why does he keep circling the Sterling estate? While I stood there puzzled, Adrian jumped out, grabbed my arm. "Sophie, why didn't you answer your phone?" I sent WhatsApp friend requests over and over. I had no idea what he wanted. I was asleep, didn't check. I asked your mom, "Chase isn't your husband. Why did you lie to me?" Huh? I never lied, you stomped off before I said a word. But earlier you claimed your husband was abroad. I asked your mom, she says you're pregnant and unmarried. So why the lie? He knows? I'm doomed. My head spun. Has he come to seize my baby? I pulled an ice-cold mask over my panic. Adrian, even if I am unmarried and pregnant, it has nothing to do with you. When he saw my stony face, the rims of his eyes reddened. He squeezed my hand and ground out, "Sophie, I don't care what's happened. Once the child is born, I'll raise it as my own." What? You're not here to take the baby away? His logic short-circuited my brain. I blurted the first thing in my head. I'm not here to steal the baby. I'm here to steal you. His voice was low, hypnotic. "Sophie, give me a chance. I want to be with you. The child isn't mine by blood, but I'll love him like he is. Sophie, I love you, I don't want you raising him alone. Let me take care of you both. A child needs a father. You're here to steal me? What does that even mean?" Part of me understood, part of me didn't. Back when I worked at Vance, Adrian always wore a keep away frost. Now he claims he loves me, and is willing to bring up another man's child? "Sophie, I've liked you since you were at the company. I wanted to tell you, but I didn't dare." His eyes were completely red, as though he'd suffered some huge injustice. "Hey, don't cry. This look really doesn't suit your image." I squeezed his hand back. "Because you always smiled at everyone, every colleague got your smile, except me. That's it? So because I didn't grin at you, you're crying?" "Adrian, don't be ridiculous. Of course it's not just that. It's also because you slept with me and took no responsibility. When I woke up you'd vanished without a trace, didn't even say goodbye." Oh my God, he knew. My voice trembled. "You knew it was me that night?" Adrian's eyes turned aggrieved. "Duh. Of course I knew who'd slept with me, how could I not?" He paused, then went on, "I wasn't drunk at all. Why do you think I came looking for you? Wendy from accounting saw you in the office and mentioned it in the group chat, so I showed up." "Came specifically for me? Why?" "To drive you home, obviously. But the second you saw me you pounced. Asked where you lived, wouldn't tell. Insisted on coming to my place. Once we got there you confessed you'd been crushing on me, then started yanking off my shirt. I got a little mad. So much for thinking he was some gentleman. And you just let me strip you? Zero male virtue." Honest to God, Sophie, I'm no saint. I can't hold back when the woman I like is climbing all over me. I asked if you were sure, you nodded like your life depended on it. I asked who I was, and you said, Adrian, you big baddie. Do you have any idea how happy, how completely satisfied I was that night? Then morning comes, I open my eyes, and poof, you'd evaporated. Heartbreaker. Wait, I just got wasted. How did I become a heartbreaker? Before I could defend myself, he wiped his tears and added, Sophie, are you a repeat offender? You flirt, then bail? Is that how this baby happened too, huh? Heaven knows I've only ever cut loose that one time in my entire life. I quickly changed the subject. Adrian, I was just taking out the trash. Let me dump it first, okay? I waved the garbage bag. Declaring love while holding trash, so not romantic. He grabbed the bag, rushed to throw it away, came back, and laced our fingers tight. Sophie, take me home to meet your parents. I'll tell them I'll take care of you. I pictured my bedroom, no floor space visible, and shook my head like a bauble doll. Plus I'm nowhere near ready to be with Adrian. And I have no clue how shocked he'd be if I told him the baby is his, or how stunned my parents would be. Pressure hit me from every side and my instinct was to bolt again. Feeling me pull back, Adrian squeezed my hand harder. Sophie, don't even think of running. This time you're not getting away. What did I do to deserve this, 8 months pregnant and still getting hit on? Not today, Dad's out. Come tomorrow morning. Seeing me give in, Adrian looked like a pouty kid handed candy, tears finally stopped. I'll be here first thing, Sophie. Wait for me. After Adrian left, I went back upstairs. Mom perched cautiously across from me. Sophie, did you see little Vance? Saw him. Then why do you still look shell-shocked? Wait, how did you know I ran into him? It hit me, how did she know Adrian was here? If I didn't know, would I have sent you downstairs to take out the trash? So the whole thing was Mom's setup. No wonder I kept bumping into Adrian. Mom, Adrian confessed. Says it doesn't matter if the baby isn't his, he'll raise it. Mom beamed. The first time I met little Vance I knew he liked you, you kept denying it. That boy's perfect, handsome, loaded, and a CEO. Marry him and our factory stays in the family. Mom. With everything going on you're still thinking about the factory? Without the factory what would we eat? Afraid she'd derail, I yanked her back. But the baby is Adrian's. Dad spat a mouthful of water at the TV, Mom smacked my butt twice in shock. So I told them the whole story. Mom cried happy tears. Child, if you'd said so earlier, poor little Vance wouldn't have suffered so. My heart aches for him. Seriously, Mom? I'm your daughter, 8 months pregnant, and you ache for him? If you'd behaved none of this would have happened. Her scolding shut me up. I made her swear not to tell Adrian, I'd do it tomorrow. My head's still spinning, none of this feels real. Before dawn the doorbell rang. Mom answered to find a dozen movers carting stuff inside, priceless calligraphy Dad loves, jewelry Mom adores. Cigarettes, liquor, tea, and sweets were heaped on the balcony. By the time I got up Adrian was perched on the sofa looking meeker than I'd ever seen. When he spotted me his nervous fingers wrinkled his suit pants. Sophie, you're awake. I've already spoken with your parents. If you marry me I'll transfer 70% of everything I own to you. He tugged my sleeve gently and sniffed. Is that okay? I was stunned, 70% of Vance? That's basically winning the lottery. When I stayed silent he panicked even more. And the baby, I swear I'll love it like my own. I finally burst out laughing. Dummy, the baby is yours. There never was anyone else. Adrian shot off the sofa, hands shaking as he gripped my shoulders. Sophie, you're telling the truth? Truer than pearls. Doubt me? Do a DNA test once the baby's born. No need, Sophie. I believe you. Mom and Dad slipped out, giving us space. I leaned lightly against him, his hand brushed my bump. Sophie, why didn't you come to me right away? It must have been hard alone. I shook my head. Not really. I almost terminated, then figured your premium jeans were worth keeping. He hugged me tighter. Sophie, I'll spend the rest of my life being good to you, unbelievably good. Meeting Adrian was an accident, sleeping with him while tipsy was an accident, yet accidentally perfect. I hope everyone stumbles into their own slice of beautiful serendipity. Thanks for listening to today's story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. We can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more wonderful stories. See you next time.